Okay, this is a short lesson video meant to walk you through a way to more efficiently plan your argument essay for your AP test. The idea is if you can plan more efficiently and more precisely, your overall timing on that writing will speed up. And that way you can write your best piece of writing and you can focus on developing your language skills and not be rushed by the 40 minutes as much. The argument essay prompts are by far out of the three essays the shortest prompts to deal with. So you don't want to take any more than 8 minutes to plan, or you will find yourself running out of time on that piece of writing. You want to take between 3 and 8 minutes to make a really efficient plan. Some things to remember. You can't make an effective plan if you don't understand the prompt. So you must read the prompt carefully. We live in a day and age where we want to just get started really quickly and we want to just get to the information really fast. And a lot of times we skip over really important details, really important instructions, and miss that because we're in a too much of a rush. So remember, you can't write the essay they're asking you to write unless you fully understand what they're asking you to do. If you have trouble reading and interpreting these argument essay prompts, you might want to check out our lesson video on analyzing prompts. We've got a lesson video that you can check out along with our other ones that will walk you through some strategies that might help you sort these prompts out a little more. Um, but basically, you need to make sure you read everything on the prompt page and that you identify the one sentence task that it's asking you to complete. Okay, and every prompt it'll kind of talk about some of the ways people approach the conversation, but ultimately there's one sentence in that prompt that's asking you to complete a specific task that you need to understand. For example, let's look here. These two prompts both give us very different detailed things to do. If you notice, there's a lot of information in this prompt. There's a lot of information. We get some background information, and we have this statement set off down here. Now, some students would, because they're pressed for time, consider skipping this and just starting to read here. That would be a big mistake because, like we said, there's a one sentence explanation in here, a one sentence task that they're asking you to do. The one sentence task in this prompt is right here. Write an essay that examines the extent to which Paine's characterization of America holds true today. This is what they're asking you to do. If we take a look at this other prompt, we can see what they're asking us to do in this prompt. Notice it looks a little different. In this prompt, the task doesn't appear till the bottom, right? In a well-organized essay, take a position on the relationship between certainty and doubt. That's the task they're asking you to do. Once you understand the task they're asking you to do, that's when you want to kind of get started on making your actual plan. And the first thing you want to do is actually rephrase the prompt for your thesis. This is the easiest way to write a thesis statement. It's actually taking some of the language from the actual prompt, remixing it, right? And creating a thesis statement from that. Let me show you some examples. DJ Questlove there. That's a shameless plug to one of my favorite musical artists. So for instance, on this prompt, we would take the actual language from the prompt and rephrase it, right? If we look up here, it says, write an essay that examines the extent to which Paine's characterization of America holds true today. Well, here we go. Paine's characterization of America does not hold true today because the poor are oppressed and the rich are privileged. I got that language from the prompt, from the task, and then from the actual quote that they give us, right? I took the language straight from there to make my prompt, right? Let's look at another example. If you don't remember what we did when we talked about thesis statements, you might want to review our lesson on thesis statements. In this prompt, take a look. Take a position on the relationship between certainty and doubt. The relationship between certainty and doubt provides a necessary tension that helps us navigate difficult moral questions. Writing that thesis statement and getting it done quickly is the key to getting started quickly, right? You can't, the reason borrowing language from the prompt is so good is because you can get that thesis statement done quickly. You can determine what position you're going to take and quickly get the language correct on it and get that down. The faster you can get that thesis statement ready to go, the more time you'll be able to focus on your writing. Many students stop their planning there, okay, and they just start writing. And what tends to happen if you do that is you get one good chunk of evidence in after that thesis statement, and then you have to stop and you have to think, what can I do as evidence now? And now you're no longer thinking about putting forth your best language skills, which is what the test is about, and now you're trying to come up with ideas for what to say. Plan your reasons and specific evidence before you write. As quickly as possible, make a plan. This way, you're not having to try to think about what to say. You can focus on saying it well and how you say it. A plan might look something like this. We'll look at the prompts here. Of course, remember our lesson earlier in the year. There's a video lesson on argument and evidence, and we talked about evidence, how you can't just allude to something, you have to bring the bloody glove of personal experience into the courtroom. Famous OJ trial, right? Let's look at this plan. For the pain essay, it says we've got our thesis statement there that you've already seen. I would also plan what kinds of experience, personal experience evidence I could use. You don't have to write out the whole thing in your plan, but pick out the things you're going to write about. So you're not trying to think about these things later. So for instance, for this prompt, I would say I could use myself seeing the poor oppressed, right? And I can talk about a family that I know that's in poverty. That's a great plan, right? Seeing the rich privileged. I can talk about a service project we did with wealthy students from Banks High School. I don't know if there's really a Banks High School. Sorry. I hope no one from Banks High School is offended. I don't know if it's real. Um, and you could talk about things like observations from, not form, from Mr. Singleton error right there. Teachers make errors too, but hopefully we learn to correct them. Let's try this out. From. Oh, wow. Writing like a kindergartner too. Observations from poverty unit. And that could be talking about how we watched the documentary Hoop Dreams and where we saw the AG and Gates families experiencing poverty and oppression, and that could be evidence. But you want to plan out all this evidence before you start writing. That way, when you get to the essay, you can just focus on writing and showing off your language skills. Same thing for this plan. Really quickly coming up with some examples, right? We have our prompt, our thesis statement up there already. And then I would really quickly plan out what are the personal experiences I'm going to use, right? Well, I know Alan, he relies on certainty with his religious views. And I saw him be very judgmental towards Steve and couldn't accept friendship with him because of that. So that would be something I could expand on in my essay. Observations from ancient texts. Maybe you know a little bit about these texts and you know about the story of doubting Thomas in the Christian Bible and that discussion of certainty and doubt, right? And maybe the time I was certain that Adam, my friend, stole my phone and I ruined our friendship with how I confronted him because he didn't steal it. If I would have approached with more doubt, we'd still be friends. Now I could expand on that when I get to that part and writing in the essay. That's how you want to make a plan. And you want to do that quickly. If you're watching this video as a part of a review for the AP exam, what I'm going to ask you to do is look at a few AP argument essay prompts and actually time yourself. Time yourself in those 3 to 8 minutes, right? Really, the shorter the time you can get it, the better. You want to practice writing a thesis statement quickly. You want to practice coming up with some quick personal experiences and seeing how fast you can do that so you know what you need to do for the test. And if you've struggled with timing and planning thus far when we've done timed writings, this could go a long way in helping you fix that situation.